They said my son stole $40,000 from Dad's safe, so I exposed the real thief in front of everyone. My sister had everyone convinced, even dragged my kid's name through the dirt. But I brought the receipts, rolled the footage, and watched her world unravel right there in the living room. The knock came right after dinner. Eli and I were still clearing the table when my sister's voice rang through the door like a subpoena. Dad wants to talk. Now. Sunday dinners with my family were never exactly warm, but they were tradition. I brought Eli because I wanted him to feel connected, even if I rarely did. But nothing could have prepared me for what waited on the other side of that door. My father sat in his recliner like a king issuing judgment, arms folded. Alyssa stood beside him, smug and stone-faced, with her daughter Maddie sitting stiffly nearby. What's going on? I asked, immediately uneasy. You need to tell us what Eli did, Alyssa said. No hello. No build-up. I looked at my son. His eyes flicked to mine, confused, not guilty. What are you talking about? $40,000 is missing from Dad's safe, she said. Maddie saw Eli near the office during the barbecue 2 weeks ago. She said he was alone? I froze. I wanted to laugh, not because it was funny, but because it was so absurd. My 13-year-old son, stealing $40,000? From a safe he didn't even know existed? Dad spoke then, his voice low and final. I'm not accusing Kevin. But either you return the money or we'll have to take other measures. Family or not. Return the money. Just like that. You think Eli took it? I said, my voice too calm for what I felt. Do you really believe that? It's not personal, Alyssa added. But Maddie saw him. And you've always bent over backwards for him. That part stung. It was true. I had bent backwards, sideways, and into knots for my son. After his mom left, he became my whole life. But stealing? That's not him. That's never been him. I turned to Eli. His mouth trembled. I didn't take anything, Dad. I know, I said. And I meant it. But no one else in that room cared about what we said. They'd made up their minds. I was the fixer, the one who paid, the one who didn't fight. They thought I'd do it again. I didn't argue. I didn't defend. I didn't scream. I just said, let's go, Eli. We walked out, past the stiff stares and silent judgments, and down the front steps into the cold night. In the car, Eli sat quietly. Then, barely above a whisper, he said, Do they really think I'd do that? I wanted to tell him no. I wanted to tell him this would all blow over. But I'd be lying. So instead I said, We're going to fix this. But not for them, for us. That night, as Eli slept, I sat at the kitchen table, staring at my phone, my brain already calculating. I wasn't going to beg for understanding. I was going to prove the truth. They wanted a villain. They were about to meet a version of me they'd never seen. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about every time I'd kept the peace at my own expense. Every time I'd driven Alyssa to job interviews, lent her money without asking for it back, watched Maddie so she could breathe, or covered for her with Dad when she missed Sunday dinner again. I remembered the time she totaled her car and Dad covered the down payment for another. I remembered when she overdrew her bank account and blamed it on a bank error, and how I spotted her the $800 to avoid fees. And I remembered being 8 years old, getting grounded for something she did. She cried. I got punished. That pattern never changed. They always assumed I'd understand. That I'd pick up the slack. That I'd fix it, quietly, without complaint. Until now. Because this time, it wasn't just about me. It was about Eli. I spent Monday between autopsies making lists of facts, inconsistencies, financial trails. I didn't have the full picture yet, but I had the scent. And decades of working with the dead had taught me something crucial. People lie, but the numbers never do. That night, I made Eli pancakes, a Tuesday night tradition we borrowed from his mom, back when she still visited. He picked at them. Do you believe them? He asked. I put my fork down. I believe you, I said. And I believe they're used to blaming me. They just figured it was easier to blame you too. His face crumpled just a little. I hate them. I don't think you do, I said. I think you hate how they treated you. That's different. He looked up. Are you going to fix it? I nodded. But not the old way. Wednesday morning, I requested the bank transaction history from Dad's safe withdrawals. He used the same small-town bank he always had, still wrote physical checks, still trusted cash over cards. If $40,000 was missing, there'd be some kind of withdrawal trail. And I knew how he operated. If Alyssa wanted access to that safe, she had it. She always did. She was the responsible one. The organized one. I was the silent one. When the bank manager faxed over the summary, the numbers told their own story. Large cash withdrawals, but spread over 8 months. The total, $39,200. All under Dad's signature, all withdrawn on days that lined up with family emergencies. My sister had been bleeding him dry slowly, not all at once. And she'd found the perfect scapegoat when the final envelope went missing. By Wednesday afternoon, Alyssa sent a message to the family group chat. We'll be meeting at Dad's house tonight at 7. We expect this to be resolved. Kevin, don't bring Eli. It was so cold. Like I was being summoned to court, not invited to a conversation. Eli saw the message over my shoulder. I'm not going, he said. They don't see me. Why should I show up for them? His voice wasn't angry. Just tired. I'm not asking you to, I told him. He looked surprised. I'm not throwing you into the fire, Eli, I said. This time, I walk in alone. And I don't walk in empty-handed. He nodded slowly, relief and sadness swirling in his expression. You're going to war, aren't you? I smiled, but there was no humor in it. No, I said. I'm just finally telling the truth out loud. And I intended to bring every receipt. I arrived at my father's house 5 minutes early. I parked at the end of the driveway instead of pulling up like usual. Symbolic, maybe, but I didn't want to pretend this was normal. I carried a banker's box with me. Inside, printed bank records, Venmo statements, timestamps, a copy of Dad's withdrawal history, and a USB with security footage I'd managed to get from a friend who worked at a local camera system installer. I even brought a damn highlighter. The living room was already full. Dad in his recliner, arms crossed. Alyssa beside him with her arms folded tighter. Brad, her husband, pacing like he was ready to throw a punch. Maddie avoided eye contact. And my mom, well, she sat with her Bible in her lap, looking like she wanted to disappear. Where's Eli? Alyssa asked immediately. He's not part of this, I said, setting the box on the coffee table. But he will be cleared by the time I'm done. Alyssa scoffed. This isn't a trial, Kevin. No, I said. Because a trial requires evidence before conviction. You skipped that part. I opened the box, pulled out the stack of printed statements, and handed one to each of them. This is Dad's withdrawal history. The last 8 months. You'll notice the money didn't leave all at once. My father's brow furrowed as he flipped through. Brad grabbed the sheet like he was ready to tear it in half. The money you think Eli stole? I continued. It was gone before that barbecue even happened. Piece by piece. All under Dad's authorization. Alyssa opened her mouth, but I cut her off. Let me finish. I pulled up my tablet, screen mirroring to their TV. You said Maddie saw Eli near the safe. What you didn't say is that your bedroom has a security camera outside it, the one pointing at the hallway. Her face paled. I played the clip. It showed the date and time of the barbecue. It showed Maddie walking by the door. Then Alyssa going in. 10 minutes later, Alyssa again, leaving the room, holding a large manila envelope. No Eli. I paused the screen. Maddie saw someone. But it wasn't Eli. My father's jaw clenched. Is this real? I nodded. Pulled from your own system. You forgot Brad upgraded the cameras last winter. Alyssa stammered. That's not. I was moving something for Dad. Then explain this, I said, pulling up her Venmo and credit card screenshots. Payments made on the same day. A down payment to a luxury car dealer. The same amount, down to the cent, as the final missing withdrawal. Brad blinked. You told me your bonus covered that. Silence. Let's be honest, I said quietly. You didn't think I'd fight this time. You thought blaming my kid was easy. Eli is quiet. Like me. And quiet makes us disposable to you. Alyssa looked at me with something I hadn't seen in her face since we were kids, fear. My dad cleared his throat. So, you're saying. I'm saying. I interrupted. That Eli didn't steal a dime. And Alyssa used your money for her SUV, then framed him to cover her tracks. Everyone stared at her. She didn't deny it. Brad stood up so fast the chair nearly tipped. Are you serious? He yelled. You dragged our kid into this? My mom whispered. Alyssa. Alyssa just sat there, eyes wide frozen. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. But I saw it, that moment when her empire of lies collapsed in her own mind. And for once, I didn't feel the need to fix it. I stood. Picked up my empty box. Walked to the door. Before I left, I turned back. You don't have to apologize, I said. But you will leave Eli out of your mess from now on. And with that, I walked away. Not triumphant. Just done. The next morning, Eli came downstairs before school and saw the empty banker's box by the door. You did it, didn't you? He asked. I poured him coffee, a rare rite of passage I'd saved for special moments. This felt like one. I did, I said. He sipped it and winced. Tastes awful. Welcome to adulthood. I smiled. We didn't say more. We didn't need to. The truth had landed like a silent meteor. And while it didn't fix everything, it shattered the lie that had nearly buried my son. I took the day off work. Sat on the porch. Let the air settle. By mid-afternoon, my phone lit up like a slot machine. Texts from Mom, from Brad, from family members I barely heard from unless someone died. They all had the same sour flavor, guilt dressed up as small talk. Hey, are you free this weekend? Missed having you at dinner. Eli doing okay? I didn't reply. That night, Eli and I ordered burgers and watched reruns of a show we both loved. Halfway through, he said, They're gonna pretend it never happened, aren't they? Some will, I said. Some always do. And what about us? He asked. I thought about that. We're going to stop pretending, I said. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace, but not the kind where I swallowed everything just to keep things quiet. Not the kind where I was the bridge everyone walked over to stay connected. No more fixer. No more scapegoat. No more. That's just how Alyssa is. A few days later, my mother called. I let it ring. She texted instead. We need to talk. This family can't stay fractured. Fractured. As if it wasn't already in pieces long before the money went missing. The next Sunday, I skipped dinner. No warning. No explanation. Just absence. A new language I was teaching them, and myself. That week, I drew up something I never imagined needing, boundaries. It wasn't emotional. It was clinical. A list of what I would and wouldn't allow. What Eli needed to stay protected. What I deserved to no longer tolerate. I sent it to the family group chat. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't cruel. It was just clear. Going forward, I will not attend family events where Eli is not welcome. I will not participate in conversations that rely on guilt, denial, or gaslighting. I will only engage with those willing to acknowledge what happened, not excuse it. This is not a punishment. It's a requirement for contact. I waited for backlash. Instead, there was silence. It stretched for days. Then a week. And honestly, that silence felt better than years of being quietly disrespected. Eli thrived. His appetite came back. His laugh returned. He started playing guitar again, filling the house with messy, beautiful sound. And me? I started breathing easier. Not because the weight was gone, but because I'd finally set it down. 3 weeks passed without a word from Alyssa. Not a text. Not a call. Not even one of those empty, family update emails she used to send to cover up her latest drama. I'd expected some kind of retaliation. A tantrum. A smear campaign. Something. But there was nothing. Until one afternoon, I opened the door to find her standing on my porch. No makeup. No polished hair. No designer bag hanging off her shoulder. Just Alyssa. Raw and shaky. And alone. Her eyes were red. Not the kind of red you get from a quick cry, the kind you earn from 3 weeks of unraveling. "Can I come in?" she asked. I stared at her for a long moment. Then stepped aside. Eli was upstairs. I didn't call him down. We sat at the kitchen table, same spot where I'd sorted through her lies just weeks ago. She didn't speak right away. "I thought if I stayed quiet, it would blow over," she finally said. "That you'd come around like you always do." I didn't respond. I wanted her to sit in the silence she'd always demanded from me. "I was drowning in debt," she went on. "And Brad, he didn't know. He thought everything was fine. I took the money from Dad, figured I could cover it before anyone noticed." "You didn't," I said. I panicked. When Dad asked about it, Maddie said she saw Eli near the room, and I just used it. That word. Used. Like Eli was a tool. A shield. Disposable. Tears welled in her eyes, but I didn't offer comfort. "I hate what I became," she whispered. But I didn't hate it enough to stop. I leaned forward. "Then why are you here now?" She swallowed hard. "Because I lost everything. Brad's gone. He took Maddie and moved out. Dad won't return my calls. Mom won't even look at me. I didn't come for your pity, Kevin. I came because you're the only person I've never said sorry to. And the one I hurt the most." Still, I didn't speak. "I'll do whatever it takes to earn your forgiveness," she said. "I don't need you to earn anything," I replied. "I need you to fix what you broke." Her brows furrowed. "Eli," I said. "You accused him publicly. You embarrassed him, humiliated him, damaged his trust. If you want to start making things right, you apologize to him. Not me." Alyssa nodded slowly. "Can I talk to him?" I called upstairs. Eli came down cautiously, saw her, and froze. She stood. "I lied," she said, voice shaking. "I used you to protect myself. I'm sorry. I know that's not enough. But I mean it." Eli looked at her. His face was unreadable. After a long pause, he said, "Okay. Not, I forgive you. Not, it's all right. Just okay." And somehow, it was exactly the right thing. Alyssa turned to me. Can I come back? Into the family?" I shook my head gently. "You can rebuild. But I'm not carrying you anymore." She left with nothing but a nod. It wasn't closure. Not yet. But it was the first honest thing she'd done in years. And for Eli, for me, it was enough. A month passed. No more surprise visits. No staged interventions. The group chat was dead. Quiet, like the silence that follows a storm. Only this time, no one rushed in to pretend the roof hadn't been torn off. Alyssa didn't push. She sent one message, the day after her apology to Eli. "I'm going to therapy. I know that doesn't fix anything. Just wanted you to know." I didn't reply. Not out of cruelty, out of clarity. I wasn't the emotional clean-up crew anymore. Her healing was hers to manage. Life at home was lighter. Eli laughed more. He started biking again with the kid down the street. His sarcasm came back, that dry, clever edge he inherited from his mom. I'd missed it. One evening, we were watching a movie when my phone buzzed. A message from Mom. "Can we talk? Just us?" I stared at it for a while. The last time we really talked, I was 16, and she told me. "Sometimes being quiet is the only way to keep this family together." I replied. "Tomorrow. Noon. Coffee shop near your place." She was already there when I arrived. No makeup. No fake cheer. She looked older. Smaller. Like the scaffolding she'd worn for decades had finally crumbled. We sat in silence for a minute before she spoke. "I used to think you were the safest one to hurt," she said. I blinked. "I don't mean that how it sounds." I mean, you didn't yell. You didn't fight back. You made things easy. You were easy to overlook. I looked down at my coffee. Steam curled like smoke. She continued. Alyssa always made noise. Always demanded things. And you just absorbed. So when something went wrong, blaming you was like breathing. It was automatic. I didn't interrupt. I wanted her to feel it. All of it. I told myself you could handle it. That it didn't affect you the same way. But when you walked out that night, and didn't come back, I realized how wrong I was. Her eyes watered, but she didn't cry. We didn't just accuse Eli. We erased him. The same way we erased you. I finally met her eyes. I can't take back what we did, she said. But I'm sorry. And I want to do better. I nodded once. That's all I needed to hear, I said. But I wasn't offering her the old version of me. The one who gave and gave until I vanished. Before we left, I told her, if you want to be part of our lives, it comes with terms now. You don't get unlimited access. You don't get to rewrite history. You show up with respect. Or you don't show up at all. She didn't argue. She just said, I understand. And for the first time in years, I believed her. When I got home, Eli looked up from his guitar. You good? Yeah, I said, dropping my keys in the bowl. I think we're finally getting there. He strummed a lazy chord. Told you we'd win. I smiled. Not revenge. Not redemption. Just truth. And it was more than enough. I never thought peace would be this quiet. No grand apologies. No teary reunions. Just a long, steady exhale after years of holding my breath. Eli started 8th grade with more confidence than I'd ever seen in him. His teachers mentioned he was more vocal in class. He signed up for the school talent show, playing guitar, of course. I helped him pick the song, but he chose to sing too. That part he didn't tell me until he walked onto the stage. When he finished, the whole gym clapped. But I didn't. Not right away. I was too busy trying not to cry. One Saturday morning, my phone rang. Mom lit up the screen. I answered. Just me, she said. No drama. I was wondering if you and Eli wanted to come over for lunch. No agenda. Just lunch. I hesitated. She added, you don't have to decide now. But I did. We'll come. The house felt smaller than I remembered. Maybe because the weight I'd always carried inside it was finally gone. She didn't fuss. No overcompensating. She hugged Eli and said, thank you for coming. During lunch, she didn't bring up the past. She didn't ask for anything. Just passed the potatoes and asked how school was going. At one point, Eli excused himself to the bathroom. Mom leaned in, voice low. I meant what I said. About doing better. I know I can't fix what I let happen. But I can stop repeating it. I nodded. After we ate, she brought out a dusty photo album from the hall closet. One I hadn't seen in years. Inside were pictures of my childhood. Some I didn't even remember posing for. Most of them, I was off to the side, smiling faintly, watching Alyssa soak up the spotlight. But one photo caught my eye. It was me and Eli asleep on the couch. He must have been 3. My arm was around him, both of us knocked out cold in matching Spider-Man pajamas. Alyssa had taken the photo, apparently. Brad used to joke that you two looked like a broken remote and the new batteries, she said softly. I laughed. For real. As we packed up to leave, Mom handed me the photo in a frame. Put it somewhere you'll see it, she said. Remind yourself what matters. That night, I placed it on the shelf above our TV. Eli noticed it and smiled. We looked cool. We were cool, I said. Still are. The following Sunday, when Alyssa texted asking to join us for coffee, I said yes, but only in public, and only if she understood the boundaries. She agreed. She showed up on time. Alone again. No fancy clothes. No rehearsed speech. I'm still in therapy, she said. Still untangling all the stuff I ignored for years. But I'm trying. I nodded. Trying matters. She didn't ask to see Eli. She didn't beg for connection. She just sipped her coffee and said, "Thanks for meeting me." When I got home, Eli asked how it went. "Different," I said. "But better." We sat on the couch, flipping through movie options. "You know," he said, "I never thought they'd actually change." "Some haven't," I said. "But some are trying. That's enough." He leaned his head on my shoulder. "For years I thought being a good son meant staying quiet, absorbing damage, and never making others uncomfortable. But now I see it differently. Being a good son means protecting your own kid when no one else will. Being a good father means breaking the cycle, no matter how much noise it causes." We didn't just clear Eli's name. We claimed our space in the family, on our terms. And for the first time in my life, I don't feel like a shadow. I feel like a father. A whole one.